Hey loves, my name is Cynthia and I am a storyteller through these vlogs. I am also a podcaster and I podcast through the channel Life Podcast. And I am also a woman who is becoming every single day a better version of themselves. And through these vlogs are my open journal whereby I talk about loss, pain, purpose, healing, and hope in Jesus Christ because He is my Lord and Savior. And here we also talk about the things that we usually don't say out loud, or rather, people, things that are uncomfortable for some, but we gotta say them. And today I want to talk about a very interesting topic, and I call it grief in the quiet places. So I wrote something down. It's quite a lot. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna read it because I wasn't able to memorize all of it in my head. So here goes. There are days that live in my memory like shadows, still quiet and but always present. One of those days was when I lost my firstborn son. For those who did not know, I lost a child when I was quite very young. I had just started getting used to calling myself mom, and then suddenly he was gone after just 3 months of being called a mom. No signs, no warnings, just sleep and then silence. They call it SIDS, that is sudden infant death syndrome, but I called it confusion. And for a long time, I called it my fault. I called it my fault because I really blamed myself. Like, how does someone just sleep, a child especially, and not wake up? Maybe I didn't hear him cry. Maybe I missed something. And I carried that guilt in silence for the longest time. Yeah, and it was not an easy time. And then came April 2021, the day that I lost my dad. And I remember thinking, God, again? Because I just didn't want to go through that phase. But then again, have you ever thought about what grief looks like in silence? Because no one really prepares you for the silence that follows after the burial. You see, what most people don't see, what only those who are grieving know, is that when everyone leaves, reality walks in, and it's heavy, quite heavy. That's when you realize that you will never see your loved one again. Like, it hits home. You'll never laugh together, you'll never make tea together, never sit down and just vibe again. And all you're left with is memories. And I remember during my dad's funeral planning, I looked strong. Well, I was strong, I looked strong, I don't know. And I smiled, I handled logistics, and I took care of people who visited us and made sure that everything went well, or at least I assumed that I took care of people who visited us at home. But on the flip side of it was every single night I cried myself to sleep. Some nights sleep came, and others I just stared at old messages and scrolled through photos, and I begged God in silence. It's like I was bargaining with Him. And in these conversations, I reminded Him of the prayers that we made as a family and the fast that we did, and both as a family, personal, and also the WhatsApp group, because there were many WhatsApp groups that were praying for Dad. But still, Dad was gone. And let's not even forget the headaches, because they pulled up a chair and they never left. They were a constant friend every single time. Headaches. And then I remember the moment when my mourning truly began. It was during this time. The house was quiet. There were no more crowds, no more chatter, just me and my family. And I remembered on this particular day, the burial photos came, and it was just me and my small sister Nadia. And I was the first one to look at the photos, and I broke down. I wailed loud and so raw. It was as if I can't even explain it. It was the kind of wail that just doesn't come up from the throat. It was from the soul, like deep inside my soul. It was as if my body finally caught up with the truth my mind had been avoiding. Reality had simply hit home that I will never ever see my dad on this side of earth again. The truth is, people checked in those days. And I saw the phone ring, but I just let it ring and I just couldn't pick it up. My mind and my eyes, there was just like no coordination. I saw it, but I just couldn't pick it up. And I knew the people who were calling meant well, but I just couldn't answer phones. I didn't have words to say anything. I also didn't go outside the house at 4. So I was indoors for most of the time. I also didn't reply to messages, and then I just couldn't, and I didn't smile on demand. I was just there, dazed. You know, the truth remains, I know that I lost some friendships during that time when I lost my dad. Some people just didn't understand that I couldn't pick up the phone or text them back, and I was not in a place whereby I was able to explain, and I just couldn't explain. And grief forced me to pack emotions in boxes and store them up for later, because that's the only way that I was able to survive. That was my survival mode. And then I remember silence became my friend. Like, I would just be silent. But journaling was my therapy, because I was able to write down things, and through that I was able to express my emotions. And another thing that grieving people have is they have triggers. I also have my own personal triggers, and they are ambulances. That's number one. And then breathing tubes, or anyone who has been intubated. That is the tube that goes through your mouth all through to your chest. And the word COVID. Because my father was taken to hospital in an ambulance, and he never came back home. And he also had been intubated, and he was suffering from COVID. So yes, one sound of an ambulance, one scene on TV or a program that I'm watching, one smell can undo me in just a split second, and it would take me back to that place whereby I would be reminded of my father. Yeah, so I know I'm not the only one who has triggers. Every grieving person has triggers of how they last remember their loved one. What I wish people know? I personally wish people knew that when someone is grieving, they just don't have words, and sometimes they may look angry and confused, like they're just not in their right or the normal state they're usually in. Their world is shattered. Therefore, please don't be offended when we don't show up. Or maybe you've invited someone to an event or an occasion, and it could be a very special occasion to you, but this person who's just lost a loved one is not able to handle a party, or is not able to be happy for you at this particular moment. They're happy for you, but they cannot just be there for you. So please understand when you have someone who is grieving and they cannot just show up. We're just trying to breathe and find our space and to come back again. But then again, what does support look like? I would say support for someone who's grieving is prayer. Pray for us. Another thing is sit with us in silence without you trying to downplay our feelings, because I've seen a lot of people do that, whereby someone is trying to express or say something that they are going through, and then you downplay them by saying, nah, don't say that, don't say that, don't say that. Allow the person who's grieving to express themselves and their feelings and exactly what they feel at that particular moment. Also, allow us to cry without you telling us, don't cry. Allow someone to cry, to express their feelings or the pain that they feel, because crying is also part of healing. And then another thing is, don't try to explain the pain away or say you understand, because you don't. every grief is different. Even if you've lost a loved one before, at that particular moment, there is no words that can explain how this other person feels. So don't try to explain the pain away, or say just be there physically, and just let the other person be. As I said, every grief is different. So finally, let me finish this vlog by saying that grief is a journey that no one is ever ready for. Like, absolutely no one is ever ready for it. And I want people to understand this, that I am not glorifying pain, and I'm not glorifying that in any way, because Jesus Christ overcame death. But I'm shining light on a reality that many have been afraid to name, and many people have been stuck in it. People who have been lost they've lost a loved one. Some people have committed suicide. Some people have been angry at God. Some people have just not been able to cope with life after the death of a loved one. So yes, I'm shining light on a reality many are afraid to name, because I remember when I lost my son at 3 months, I stopped going to church for a whole year. I just didn't stop in church, and I was very angry at God because I just didn't understand why he allowed my son to die. It was just 3 months, It was a very confusing state. But here's what I now know that I did not know back then, especially when I lost my son. God can handle our grief. He is the only one who can handle your grief, and he cares, and he heals. He will heal your broken heart, and he is still God. No matter what you have gone through, the pain that you feel, the heartache that you feel, he is still sovereign, and he cares. So if you're grieving, cry in his presence, be vulnerable before him. He is a loving father who wants to heal your heart, who wants to heal your brokenness. Let him hold you, let him rebuild you. He is caring, and he is loving. And then also remember the words of Isaiah chapter 61 verse 3, which says, to give them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning. That's the God that I know. The God who stayed when my world fell apart, and he kept me sane. Like, God really kept me sane. If it was not for God, I don't know, I would have lost my mind. But because of him, I did not lose my mind. So I'm here to just encourage anyone and everyone who's lost a loved one and who's grieving. Do not abandon God. Do not put God on the side and thinking, God has abandoned me, so I'm doing life, I'm doing this without him. He is the one that you need the most right now. So do not abandon God, because he will keep you sane. He will embrace you. He will not discard you when you ask questions that are difficult or you don't seem to have answers. Embrace him. He is a loving father. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to say today. Just talk about sensitive issues on grief in the quiet places. And until the next vlog, which I hope I will be able to do, and I hope to see you in the next one. God bless you.